Hello to you all, desert lovers, and welcome to this 5th episode of Waiting for the MDS, which will put women under the spotlight. There were only 2 of them in the first edition of 1986, but now each year between 150 and 250 of them are on the start line, and some of them are not there to play a walk-on part, such as the Dutch woman Ragna DEBATS, winner in 2019 and 12th in the scratch classification.
For me, competition has really begun. Like, I feel this is the desert now. I'm here. I really have to adapt myself and manage with the difficulties I'm finding. I try to distract my mind, so not to think about the problems, but to think about pleasant things and just to dream away a little bit, so the kilometers just pass by without too much focus on the kilometer, on the route. It was really nice to see the sunset. You just saw the sun going down and it was right in front of me. Everybody got their lights on, the way was marked with lights as well, so it was very pleasant. I always like it. It gets more silent in the night, I think, and I feel well. It's a unique experience, I think, to be able to run in the desert at night. We're all on the same ship, so we're all living the same experience. Everybody is experiencing it a little bit different, but we're all one community, one unit, and I think it's nice to see the first people, but it's also very, it feels very nice to be able to welcome the last runners. Actually, I felt emotional. It's something you have to take a deep breath, because otherwise you start crying, because you can feel what the person has been feeling all the time. And the person, they were completely dead. I think they looked very tired, but they must be really glad to have achieved to finish the stage. There are different plans. If I feel okay, I'm going to push a little bit, maybe go in the first group again. We are also running in a team. If we do a very good stage, we can still become second as a team, and I think it's definitely worth fighting for. The French people are very strong, so it won't be easy, but it's not impossible, so it's worth a try. And if I feel okay, for me it's also nice to be able to finish in a strong position, so that's plan A.
I really enjoyed this last stage. I didn't have back problems, so no problems in my stomach, so I could run again. So I'm really satisfied about this last stage. I really enjoyed it. It was so great. It was lovely. I recommend it to everybody. It's a real great experience here in the desert. The whole thing. The running is great, the dunes are great, the people are fantastic, and sharing the whole adventure with your people of your tent is incredible too.
I think we'll all agree that this is definitely a very high level. And for Patrick Bauer, increasing the number of women in the pack is also a way of offering them an unparalleled sounding board.
Et bien c'est parti pour le waiting numéro 5. Donc je vous remercie à toute l'équipe. Bonjour les ensablés, comme dirait mon ami Philippe Fournier. Donc c'est un waiting spécial woman. Voilà, je pense que ça méritait évidemment. Vous le valez bien. Et quand je dis ça, je ne pense pas seulement aux athlètes de très haut niveau comme on a eu Simone Kaiser, Ragna DEBATS de Hollande, Nathalie Mauclair évidemment, ancienne championne du monde de trail, Meghan HICKS des États-Unis. Mais je pense aussi à beaucoup d'autres plus anonymes et fidèles, Junko et Rena du Japon par exemple, les sœurs Gould, Gloria évidemment, Gloria Nastre, c'est un personnage d'ailleurs qui a lancé l'idée d'un concours de, comment dire, d'élégance. Ça te va très très bien, Gloria. Sylvie, Bach qui nous manque, bien sûr, tu seras là cette année, je crois. Lilou, Barbara, Sénac, Anne Bouzoumet, voilà, Cynthia et ses super copines, évidemment, Cynthia qui m'a fait pleurer quand vous étiez en haut du Djebel, Haute-Fall, voilà, après avoir passé cette année à lutter contre cette saloperie de cancer. Tu étais en larmes avec tes 3 copines, ça m'a déchiré le cœur, mais à la fois de vous voir aussi forte, si combattante. Voilà, d'ailleurs, c'est une des spécificités qu'on va rappeler, hein, puisque les filles vous abandonnez beaucoup moins que les garçons. Donc ça, c'est quand même une qualité incroyable. Et ça, c'est les statistiques qui le disent. C'est pas moi qui l'invente. Donc c'est bien de le répéter, n'est-ce pas les garçons? Quand on a une Ragna DEBATS qui a fait 17e au scratch, ou j'avais une Italienne une année qui a fait 7e au scratch. Donc voilà, ça fait rêver quoi. Donc voilà, il y a plein d'anecdotes avec les filles. Évidemment, pendant ces plus de 3 décennies d'aventure saharienne, voilà, qu'est-ce que j'ai pu avoir comme anecdote incroyable, évidemment, avec cette petite américaine que j'ai retrouvée dans le désert, toute seule, perdue, au milieu de nulle part. C'était un grand moment d'émotion. J'ai également, bah voilà, je sais pas, Aziza, je vais dire que ton prénom, Aziza, parce que tu m'as fait un petit coucou dans le désert, je passais avec ma voiture, tu étais seule et tu m'as interpellé, je suis descendu, j'ai marché quelques dizaines de mètres avec toi et tu m'as dit, tu sais, mon papa a vu Sa Majesté avant de partir et Sa Majesté lui a dit, ben écoute, ne te fais pas de soucis, si c'est avec Patrick BAUER et son équipe, tu n'as pas de soucis à te faire. Donc voilà des cadeaux inestimables au milieu de nulle part auxquels on ne s'attend pas. Voilà, donc vous êtes des battantes, vous êtes des mères de famille aussi. En général, c'est vous qui avez toutes les responsabilités de la maison, l'administratif, les emmerdements. C'est vrai, on est plus cool les garçons là-dessus, hein. Vous prenez une sacrée part du gâteau, sans parler des enfants et du reste. En tout cas, voilà, chapeau, toutes mes félicitations du fond du cœur. Et puis, bah, quand même, j'ai oublié un truc, là, c'est l'anniversaire de Valérie à Edinburgh. Alors Valérie, je te fais un gros bisou, j'ai oublié de te le souhaiter. Donc voilà, du fond du cœur. Je vous embrasse toutes très très fort et je vous dis à très bientôt au mois d'octobre. Bisous.
After Patrick, to stay on the side of the organization, let's listen to Cécilia GUILBAUD, who gives us precious information on the female presence at the MDS, their resistance, their performance. Who are these women daring to embark on the great adventure?
Bonjour tout le monde, je suis Cécilia et je travaille dans l'organisation du Marathon des Sables depuis bientôt 17 ans maintenant. Je viens aujourd'hui vous parler de la place des femmes au sein du MDS, tant au niveau des concurrents que dans l'organisation. Alors lors de la première édition du MDS, sur les 23 participants, 2 étaient des femmes et sur les 15 finishers, une femme en faisait partie. Ensuite, en 2-3 ans, la part des femmes a atteint les 10%, ce que l'on retrouvait habituellement dans les pelotons des courses hors stade dans le monde à cette époque. Désormais, la part des femmes est à peu près 20%. À ce jour, sur les 25 000 personnes qui ont terminé le Marathon des Sables, on compte 3 500 femmes, soit presque 16% des finishers. Elles proviennent de tous les pays et de tous les horizons. En effet, nous retrouvons aussi bien des médecins que des cadres, des mères au foyer, des vendeuses, des commerciales, des étudiantes, des retraités. Comme les hommes, elles représentent toutes les tranches d'âge, mais avec une concentration tout de même entre 40 et 60 ans. Alors on dit souvent que les femmes sont plus endurantes, mais est-ce que ça se retrouve au MDS? Eh bien, des études scientifiques montrent que la résistance à la douleur de la part des femmes est bien plus élevée que celle des hommes. C'est bien sûr utile sur le Marathon des Sables. Et sous le poids des coutumes, elles ont souvent plus à prouver que les hommes, davantage à défendre leur place, leur droit d'être au cœur du désert, et de ce fait se montrent souvent plus persévérantes. On retrouve ainsi moins de femmes que d'hommes proches de l'abandon. Ces hommes à qui il faut bien souvent remonter le moral ou les bretelles. Pour ces futures concurrentes du MDS, si vous vous posez la question de savoir si vous avez plus de chances de finir le MDS quand on est une femme, eh bien je vous dirais que les meilleures femmes entrent régulièrement dans le top 15 du MDS face à des hommes pourtant coureurs de très bon niveau. Donc on peut citer la Suédoise Elizabeth Barnes, 11e en 2017, la Russe Natalia Seduk, 11e en 2016, ou la Néerlandaise Ragna DEBATS, 12e en 2019. Certaines femmes sont de véritables modèles. Dans leur pays, par exemple, Touda Didi, victorieuse en 2007 sous le drapeau marocain. Elle travaille maintenant au centre Solidarité Marathon des Sables à Ouarzazate et est devenue une source d'inspiration pour les jeunes marocaines. Maintenant, au sein des équipes d'AOI, parmi nos quelques 120 bénévoles, 35% sont des femmes. Elles occupent principalement les postes de contrôleurs et de commissaires de bivouac. Et les postes de PC course, chrono, ainsi que contrôle et commissaire de bivouac, où les bénévoles ont un contact direct avec les concurrents, sont dirigés par des femmes et depuis de nombreuses années pour chacune d'entre elles. Donc en conclusion, je dirais que les femmes ont et trouvent leur place sur le Marathon des Sables, que ce soit côté concurrent que côté organisation. Elles s'organisent dans leur vie privée pour s'offrir et vivre, elles aussi, 11 jours à fond dans la souffrance, la joie, la solidarité, et tout ça dans un environnement et un cadre magique qui leur permettent de se ressourcer et avoir des instants rien que pour elles. Allez, on se retrouve toutes et tous en octobre, et qui sait, peut-être aurons-nous pour la première fois dans l'histoire du MDS une femme à la tête du classement général pour cette 35e édition anniversaire. Allez les filles, on y croit!
Very often, being a female runner is also being a mother. And leaving for 10 days to run in the desert is also being separated from those you care about most in the world. Leaving, staying, what a difficult choice. This is a situation that Christine LEDUC registered for the first time at the MDS in 2022 describes to us with humor.
Salut, moi c'est Christine. Ça fait plus de 10 ans que je dis à mes enfants, maman va courir le marathon des sables, le MDS. Le désert, le sable, le vent, le froid, la chaleur. Dormir dans des tentes à plusieurs, manger dans des gamelles. Oh là là, et rien que l'idée de me séparer d'eux, c'est un déchirement pour moi. Pour eux. 11 jours d'absence, 11, 10 nuits, 10 dodos. Chaque année, je reporte. Nous reportons. Pourtant, eux, ils sont vraiment prêts à m'encourager, hein, vraiment, hein. Et aujourd'hui, ils ont quand même 12 et 14 ans. Ils se rendent pas compte, là, vu leur jeune âge, mais les bisous du matin, les repas du midi, le goûter, les sorties d'école, les câlins du soir. Oh là là.
C'est bon, maman, on va courir.
Vous êtes sûrs? Ça va
Oui,
aller,
c'est bon, on va courir, maman.
Bon, bah, ok, j'y vais. Mais je vous appellerai tous les jours, hein?
Ouais, c'est ça.
And once you've tried the Marathon des Sables, you often dream of returning. Devinder BAINS is one of these women who have tried the mythical adventure once to test their physical capabilities, and who several years later decide to come back. For Devinder, it will be in 2022, and 10 years will separate the two adventures. 10 years that have also left their mark on this Brit's lifetime.
Arriving at the MDS was great. Everybody was excited and scared, and then the start day itself was pretty scary, but once you got running you remembered that you could run and that you were going to be fine. It was just about putting one foot in front of the other many times. The race itself was hard in parts. It was hot, feet were covered in blisters, and the 50-mile day was the hardest. My feet were covered in blisters at that point. It was a long day, mentally, physically, and took me almost 20 hours from what I remember. But crossing that finishing line and knowing that you had the next day off was worth every step. And then the following day after that was the marathon day, and I actually ran one of the best runs I've ever run. I could see the finish line in sight, and it kept me going. Overall, the MDS still to this day is the best thing I've ever done. It was beautiful and such a challenge and achievement, and that's made me think that maybe I want to do it again. So why do I want to do it again? Well, it's going to be 10 years since I did the MDS next year, and it seems like a good time to do it. I've always had an inkling that I would do it again, but I've had a busy few years with jobs on national newspapers, and then a move to the Middle East where I've been for 7 years, and living in the desert is a constant reminder of the first time you ran in the desert. I'm back in England now, life settled down a little bit more. I found my running feet again last year, started running just for enjoyment, and it came back very easily and I enjoyed it. And with this 10-year anniversary coming up, it just felt like the right time to give it another go. 10 years on, I am older. I'll be 43 when I run the MDS this time, and I want to know if I could still do it. Things have changed in my life. I qualified as a personal trainer and a nutrition coach since I last did the MDS. I feel like I'm mature. I know a lot more about my body. I understand my body. I understand nutrition. So I'll be going into this a lot wiser, a lot more knowledgeable this time. And things have evolved. There's more product available in terms of food, protein shakes, and I think I'll come at it at a different angle. Maybe I may not be as fit as I was, but I'm still pretty fit. So yeah, it's a challenge, and I'll be coming into it in a different way, but I think I can do it.
Another woman has participated once in the Marathon des Sables and dreams of returning. Bouchra ERIKSEN, who finished second in 2018. Of Moroccan origin, Bouchra lives in Denmark and explains in beautiful French how she reconciles her passion for sport with her work and family life.
Je suis d'origine marocaine, mais malheureusement, je n'ai jamais eu l'occasion de visiter la partie du Sahara marocain. Grâce à MDS, j'ai pu réaliser un rêve et découvrir une partie de mon pays d'origine. MDS était la plus dure course, mais en même temps la meilleure dans toute ma carrière, car j'ai beaucoup apprécié et profité de chaque seconde. J'ai été vraiment fascinée par la beauté du désert de mon pays, aussi la chaleur humaine et la générosité des gens. J'ai toujours aimé le sport. Je me rappelle que j'ai commencé à découvrir ça à l'âge de 14 ans, quand j'ai commencé à participer à des petites courses à l'école ou dans notre quartier avec les amis. J'ai découvert que ça fait partie de moi. C'était toujours ma passion, et il est toujours. Je m'entraîne quotidiennement et je le vois comme mon espace de liberté. Grâce à ça, j'ai pu faire des très belles rencontres avec des gens qui sont devenus des amis, que j'ai pu vivre avec eux des expériences inoubliables. Je confirme que ce n'est pas du tout facile de réussir sa carrière si on n'a pas une famille compréhensible. Je me considérais très chanceuse d'avoir un mari qui me soutient tout le temps. Grâce à lui, je suis que je suis aujourd'hui. Nos enfants grandissant avec leur maman qui court depuis qu'ils sont venus au monde. Ils s'adaptent à tout et ils sont très fiers de moi. J'espère bien revivre l'expérience du Marathon des Sables. Pourquoi pas?
This time, we're heading to the United States to join Meghan HICKS. Meghan started running long-distance races more than 15 years ago, and she quickly reached a very high level. She won the Marathon des Sables in 2013, among other events, and she comes back in the pouring rain to talk about the competitive aspect and the place of women in extraordinary sports events.
Hello, Hello, I'm Meghan HICKS. I'm from Utah in the United States, and I have run the Marathon des Sables 6 times. I was the champion in 2013. The Marathon des Sables is a race that I love. I live in desert here in America, so going to a new desert in Africa, in Morocco, has become one of the most special things of my life, and the Marathon des Sables is a race that keeps drawing me back. I have some things to say to you if you're thinking about doing Marathon des Sables. First of all, be bold and dream. Don't be afraid to dream, and don't be afraid to dream bigger than you think, because whatever it is you can do, I guarantee you can do more than that. If you think today you can run 3 miles, I guarantee you can run 3¼ miles. If you think your maximum limit today is 10 kilometers, I guarantee you can run 10½ kilometers. We are always capable of doing a little bit more than we think we can do. So if the Marathon des Sables seems like a challenge, that's because it's supposed to be. If it seems like it's a reach goal that's far out there for you, that's because that's exactly what it's designed to be. So to the women who think about doing Marathon des Sables and who just aren't sure if they can, I'm here to tell you that you can. There are a lot of women who have come before you. There are women who will be on the starting line the day that you start. There are a lot of women who have thought, maybe this isn't for me. And as it turns out, it was. It was the very thing for them. I also have some things to say to other people in terms of how to bring more women into the sport of trail running and ultra running. To the sponsors, I say, sponsor women just as frequently and with exactly the same amount of pay as you sponsor men. To the race directors and race organizations, I say, bring as many women to the elite start of the race as you bring men. In fact, on the starting line, make a starting area for men, make a starting area for women right up front so that everybody can see the competitive women just as much as they can see the competitive men. To all of the other race organizers around the world, consider things you can do to make trail running easier for women. Do you have a childcare option or a way to help women with taking care of their kids when they're out training or participating in your race? If you're somebody who operates a running club or a running store, is there the same thing that you can do? Can you offer a childcare group so that a group of women can go out and run together for a couple of hours and their children are taken care of while they do that? To the men, family members, parents, children, co-workers, bosses of all of the women trail runners and ultra runners out in the world, we can all be better and greater supporters of our women. By breaking down the barriers that keep women from coming to ultra marathons and trail races, we can make trail running and ultra running a more welcoming place for women. It's a job for all of us. So I hope that in addition to women putting beside perhaps your concerns and your nervousness about doing a race as hard as Marathon des Sables, I say put that aside and dream big. And to all of the people in the sport and surrounding the sport who love and support women, take another step. Do something a little bit more to support the women around you. All right, the question is, do I see women's trail running and ultra running becoming more competitive? Do I see more women asserting themselves at the front of the sport? Oh, you bet. What a ride it is to watch the sport of trail running and ultra running grow right in front of my eyes. And during my career, being a journalist in this sport, women's numbers and participation in the sport go up and up and up with each month, with each passing year. And not only are there more women competing in the sport, but there are more women participating throughout the pack, the middle of the pack, the back of the pack. I welcome it, I am excited to watch it, and I'm excited to be a part of it. Let's go, ladies. Okay, and your last question for me is, who inspires me in the sport? What women inspire me? The most beautiful part about being a member of the trail running and ultra running community and being a woman in this community is that there are so many people to be inspired by. My daily training partners and my friends, Melissa Bury, Esther Hoyani, Maggie Gooderall, Courtney DeWalter, all these ladies I get to run with, they inspire me. The women who've come before us, who've set a precedent of the competitive spirit and how high to rise to. There's too many women to name, but one of my first inspirations in trail running and ultra running was Beverly Anderson Abbs, a top American ultra runner from about 15 years ago. She set a precedent and was a model for me. Nikki Kimball, an American icon of ultra running. Some of the icons of the Marathon des Sables, Laurence Klein, the many-time champion, Tuda Didi, the Moroccan victor of Marathon des Sables so many times, Magda Boulet, Elizabeth Barnes, Nikki Kimball, a number of the most recent champions of Marathon des Sables. They inspire me too. Yeah, the best part about trail running and ultra running is being surrounded by a community of strong women who every day inspire me.
Oh, what a pity this little rain. We couldn't fully enjoy the landscape. But this October, in the heart of the South Moroccan Sahara, normally this shouldn't happen to us. Well now, it's already time to say goodbye. I leave you in the company of Zoe and Emily, also known as the Gold Sisters, who come from Canada and who experienced together something really strong in the heart of the desert in 2019. See you soon, dear sand lovers!
We're at checkpoint 5, I think, on the long day, which is the 61 kilometer mark. So we have 15 left to go. We're feeling tired and sore, but also pumped. Excited! I'll eat half, she'll eat half. We're sisters, we're doing the whole race together, so.
The personal challenge of it, just trying to see if you could do it. I remember the first time that I signed up to do a marathon, I thought that was so far out of the realm of possibility. It would be so hard to do, and then you did it. You're like, oh, okay. I wonder what else is possible for me. The challenge, mostly, just to prove to myself that I can do it, and the adventure to like see the desert and landscape and meet all the people, and yeah, just the whole thing, basically. It's different than other things that we've done in that we haven't done a long race where you had to carry your stuff and that sort of thing. I think it's interesting, that aspect of it, trying to plan your kit and then having to carry it and know you have to carry all of your things, and that it's just several days of really going out there and going at it. And then of course the weather in the terrain is very different than what we experience in Canada. It's a lot hotter, and the sand and that sort of thing, so it's interesting to try to train for that. We pretended snow was sand and worked with that, I guess. But I like to run because it makes me feel really good. I use it as a de-stressing thing, and I feel stronger and better after I run, and then there's the runner's high too. I think running's the time that I decompress, or sometimes I think a lot and try to sort of deal with whatever's going on, and sometimes I just space out and it's time to just exist or be and not really think that much. I find that my mental health is a lot better when I'm running a lot. It's like my own personal therapy or something.